My heart is inditing a good matter. I speak of the things touching the king, the good man, Yahweh ben Yahweh. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Proverbs 14:22. Leaving an inheritance to your children and grandchildren is one of the established pillars of the nation of Yahweh's foundation, our foundation. While Yahweh ben Yahweh was among us, he taught and guided us in the practice and establishing of this divine principle. Yahweh ben Yahweh, as the wise master builder, prepared and laid the foundation of his nation, the nation of Yahweh. This foundation is more than historical truths and spiritual knowledge. This foundation is more than the numerous divine principles that made us great in name, great in stature. The foundation laid by Yahweh ben Yahweh, the wise master builder, is in fact funds set aside for the perpetual support of his children, his nation. For what makes up a nation? Families. What makes up families? Husbands, wives, and children. And if either is weak, then the nation is weak. There are those who have been pointing your minds to weakness as being only of a spiritual nature when it comes to Yahweh. Yes, there are families, husbands, wives, and children who are deficient in spiritual knowledge and understanding. There are those who lack moral will and purpose and are therefore spiritually weak. As a result, our nation is weak. There are also those of us who studied and learned at the feet of the king, the wise master builder, Yahweh ben Yahweh himself. And as a result, we are spiritually strong and spiritually competent. Our purpose is clear and well-defined. Yet, we are denied financial support for our years of loyal service, loyal support, loyal contribution to the foundation. The foundation that was laid by the wise master builder. And thus, we are weak. We lack the financial strength to institute our purpose as the wise master builder intended for us, his children. Let me be clear as to Yahweh ben Yahweh's children and Yahweh's people. Yahweh's people represents the righteous of all nations, including the so-called black men and black women of America, who accepts Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, and practice his laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments. Yahweh ben Yahweh's children are those of us who answered Yahweh ben Yahweh's call when he was physically among us. We gave up individualism and materialism as we worked and labored from sunup to sundown, and sometimes beyond, as full-time unpaid disciples. We submitted to Yahweh's will under the guidance of Yahweh ben Yahweh, the wise master builder. We trusted and relied in his integrity. We are Yahweh ben Yahweh's children, the children of the promise, the children of the inheritance, perpetually and not another. As a full-time disciple who held the post of steward or elder while Yahweh ben Yahweh was physically among us, I am also a craftsman and fellow builder in his foundation. This I can never forget. as fellow builders and craftsmen, and faithful children of the wise master builder, must never forget your righteous contributions and labor in our foundation. The funds set aside for our perpetual support. Revelation 3:11 says, "Hold fast that which you have. Let no one take your crown." Your crown is not only knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. It is also your righteous labor, your righteous works. If you were present in Miami in the mid-1980s, around 1986, you heard the wise master builder stated that he has set aside $100,000 in each of his disciples' name. Those who are in possession of our funds cannot deny this. It is time to pay. It has been 25 years since our king, the good man, Yahweh ben Yahweh, the wise master builder, was taken captive and kept from us, his children. The foundation that he laid and set aside has eluded us since his captivity. Be not deceived. There are many who has received benefits in various forms from those that he left as caretakers. But the masses has been misled, deceived into believing that the U.S. government confiscated our wealth. Many have conceived the concept that we lost everything. This is a lie. The good man Yahweh ben Yahweh left our nation's properties, our nation's wealth, our nation's treasury in the hands of his administrative staff and a few chosen elders as caretakers. This is only natural. Yahweh ben Yahweh once said, "Yes, I know the word said, 'Cursed be the man that trusts in man,' but I better be able to trust you." He taught and trusted them to do the right thing. He publicly stated that he taught them how to keep our properties and never to sell. They made the decision to relinquish our properties. They parted his garments, meaning they divided the physical assets of our nation among themselves. They parted the nation of Yahweh. Figuratively, the word parted means dissension, which is a difference of opinion, especially one that leads to contention or strife. Parted is the refusal to conform to the authority or doctrine of an established church. It was the decisions of Yahweh ben Yahweh's former staff members, as well as Uriah David's decisions, that led to contentions, strife, and separation among the nation of Yahweh. Their decision to change the truth of Yahweh concerning our established Sabbaths and our established high holy days, our feast days, caused much contention, strife, and separation as they intended. They knew the masses would not follow them in their lies. They knew those who were faithful and loyal to Yahweh ben Yahweh would have a problem with their program. Then they did reverse psychology and call us troublemakers. They are the troublemakers. They instituted the changes. To whom much is given, much shall be required. Yahweh ben Yahweh's staff was charged with much. They were charged with overseeing our nation's affairs, Yahweh ben Yahweh's affairs. They have a lot to answer for. Uriah David, as national ambassador, was charged by Yahweh ben Yahweh, the good man, to keep his work going. Instead, he left it in the hands of careless women. He has a lot to answer for. Some have said, "Who am I to judge another man's servant? To his own master he stand or fall." I am not judging another man's servant. I am judging the man's servant. Yahweh ben Yahweh is not another man. He is the man of the nation of Yahweh, as his son and servant. I can judge anyone who claimed to be Yahweh ben Yahweh's servant. I can judge my fellow servants of Yahweh ben Yahweh. My master did not teach some to be righteous and some to be unrighteous. He taught us all to be righteous. Uriah had neglected Yahweh ben Yahweh's sheep. Those in charge of our nation's finances have neglected to feed the sheep. Foundation, again, is funds set aside for the perpetual support of his children, his nation. When I was fighting to shine the light of truth on Yahweh ben Yahweh's innocence and to deliver him from the pit, what you call onerous restrictions, so that he could return to us, Uriah David did not assist me, though he knew. No one in the nation of Yahweh assisted me, except Sister Yeridah Pua, in my fight to deliver the Grand Master from the pit. And there are Jewish lawyers who assisted me. I'm the one who petitioned their support. I sent information around the country to those of my own nation, but my own nation judged me unworthy of assistance. Carmel and Pease Foundation judged me unworthy to listen to. They told you Shariba is sending information around by registered mail, and if it come, don't accept it. And if you have it, we advise you to turn it in. And you did. Some did not have the sense to make copies. So you don't know everything I said. Your memory is not that good. It's not over. You accepted Carmel's judgment on me. You sided with her and did not assist me. Joshua, out in California, knew I was fighting for Yahweh ben Yahweh because I sent him information myself. I sent him proof. Naphtali knew. Gobiah knew. Hadad knew. Jacob knew. Amos knew. Jacob and Amos encouraged me, but no one assisted me. And guess what? I was successful in delivering my king, the Grand Master, from the pit. No thanks to Israel, the nation of Yahweh. Think about that. Try and put yourself in my place. Years of labor and sacrifice serving the king. I testified in the federal trial as a witness for Yahweh ben Yahweh defense, and my testimony was powerful. Yahweh ben Yahweh himself said it. If I only knew how powerful my testimony was. I reached out to my fellow elders, fellow brothers from the Grand Lodge, fellow servants of the Master Builder, and I received no comfort, no aid in my journey. What was the book called? The Journey to Exonerate Yahweh ben Yahweh. Missing you, Yahweh ben Yahweh, and no one assisted me. But I persevered. Now, the amazing thing is this. 6 of the 7 elders that I reached out to appeared before Yahweh ben Yahweh in 1985 as part of a group of 18 stewards and elders summoned to appear before the king for a week. What we have in common is the fact that Yahweh ben Yahweh personally placed his name around our necks, signifying that we belong to him, that we are under his protection. He placed his name around our necks, signifying that he chose us to wear, to bear, and to defend him, his name. I, Sherebiah, was the least of that group of elders. The first 17 brothers received his name in gold. I was number 18, the last. I received his name in silver, signifying I am the least of this group and I can still be refined. So, what you do unto the least ones of Yahweh ben Yahweh, the least one of his servant that he chose to wear, to bear, and to defend his name, you do unto him also. When you refuse to assist me in fighting for Yahweh ben Yahweh, the good man, the wise master builder, the grand supreme master architect, you judge me and you judge him because I was fighting for him. So you did it to him. You refused to assist him. We are all witnesses that Yahweh ben Yahweh from behind Lewisburg Penitentiary said, I am waiting to see who is going to fight for me. He said, stop being comfortable with your life and fight for me. You saw me fighting and you did not assist me. The fact that he said he is waiting to see who would fight for him should have opened your mind to the fact that those who you contributed to, those who you gave money to, were not in fact fighting for him. You judged me first, Israel. So now you have been judged with the same judgment I am measuring out to you, that which you measured out to me. Can't you see? I'm throwing it back at you. Don't tell me I can't judge because you have